Well, it has gotten to that level. We know Governor Godwin Obaseki stated that if some of these restrictions are not observed, if the COVID-19 protocol, if they are not properly observed, he'll be left with no other option than to lock down the states. Right now, the governor has put in some restrictions. Quite interesting. Obaseki imposes 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew in Edo State, shifts resumption to February. Schools were meant to resume January 18, but right now, because of the second wave of this COVID-19, and we've been told by scientists and also experts in the field that this second wave is even going to be more deadly than the first one. But I feel that we should all just comply, save ourselves and save our loved ones and save the people around us. I know it's a tough one because now this curfew that he has put, it might affect some persons who have to work late. It will definitely affect some persons, but let's do the needful. And children are obviously going to be staying at home right now. We'll get more details as to all that Governor Godwin Obaseki have stated. But before we carry on, guys, please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Thank you once again. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has imposed a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew on the state and shifted the resumption of schools to February 1st in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Obaseki, who announced the measures at a press briefing on the second wave of the pandemic at Government House Benin, stressed that the curfew became imperative following the spread of the virus among rural and urban dwellers, unlike the first wave when infections were limited to the urban centers. The governor announced that the schools in the state will resume tentatively on February 1st to ensure that modalities were put in place in line with the COVID-19 protocols, adding that a monitoring team from the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, will oversee compliance before proposed date. He stated that the resumption date might be shifted depending on the level of compliance with the COVID-19 protocols and how well the cure would have been flattened then. Obaseki stated that the testing capacity for COVID-19 across the 18 local government areas of the state had been increased to 600 daily, while 5 isolation centers had been reactivated. He attributed the widespread of the virus in the state to non-compliance with the COVID-19 protocols, especially in the non-use of the face masks and observance of social distance, promising that going forward sanctions will be imposed on defaulters as stipulated in the exam law on containing infectious diseases. There had been a sustained increase in the second wave since it started about 6 weeks ago. People must adhere to the protocol for us to reduce the spread. If you are found flouting the regulations, we would force you to comply. We now have enforcement teams going around the cities and villages to ensure compliance. If you flout the law, you will be prosecuted and convicted, Obaseki said. He added, accordingly, we are therefore reviewing the curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily starting from today, Friday, the governor said. The governor noted that available data in the second wave indicated that children and elderly citizens are now easily affected, which is a departure from the first wave of the pandemic. We have evidence that suggests that more elderly people will be affected in this second wave, and this second wave is driven by community transmission. We are now seeing more children and youth being affected, and they account for these transmissions, he said, adding worship centers were being encouraged to ask the too young and the elderly members to stay at home. All private and public schools in the state will resume February 1st. We'll go around to ensure that they comply with the COVID-19 protocols. In the meantime, school will not resume until we review the situation, he stated. He also announced the closure of all swimming pools in hotels and other public places until the pandemic is over. My good people of Edo State, the battle against COVID-19 is one that we'll fight together. The second wave is here with us, and we are confident because of the accomplishments in this first wave, Obaseki assured. Speaking on the implementation of the second wave by transporters, the Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu said the state is working closely with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, to ensure that no face masks, no boarding rule was strictly adhered to, adding that drivers and conductors would be held responsible for violations. The Deputy Governor also disclosed that any passenger who flouted the order will be prosecuted on the spot alongside the driver of the commercial vehicle to serve as a deterrent to others. Also speaking, the state COVID-19 incident manager Andrew Obi said there were plans to vaccinate at least 60% of the state population in order to reduce the spread. Well, we've come to that level because Obaseki is left with no other choice right now. Even before we got to where we are now, the first thing he did was that he reactivated all the isolation centers, and also the testing centers as well became active again so that they will begin to work. But it looks like the way the second wave is quite different from the first one, because the initial time it was stated that even young children are not they are not at risk. But right now it's changed. It's changed. The new data and what they are gathering is quite different, and everyone wants to be safe in quite to be honest. So what Governor Gordon Obaseki is stating, I know that it will affect people in different ways, but I think it's the best thing to do. Schools resumption has been moved to February, so it's just barely a month, less than a month, February 1st. But he stated tentatively, depending on how people comply, and the higher the compliance rate, the better for the state, because it will drastically reduce the rate of those who are infected. We can't wait for this phase to pass, but we know this is not something that is affecting Nigeria alone. It's all over the world. It's the whole nation. That is why it's called a pandemic. It's quite an unprecedented time. But what would I feel that even in the midst of all of these restrictions here and there, the government should also make some provisions as well to help see how this disease will be curtailed. I know that he has open isolation centers, but there are other things that can be done as well. Maybe more sensitization going on in rural areas, the washing of hands, and how to, because some people, you will not believe, some people still don't believe that COVID-19 doesn't exist, most probably because it has not come close to them. Some people feel it's not real. So a lot more of sensitization and programs need to be undertaken. So Obaseki has imposed curfew and moved resumption date. Guys, thank you once again for staying tuned. Please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Till I come your way again with more updates. Bye for now, and God bless.